Here's something most doctors won't bring up in a routine appointment. The amount of water you're drinking throughout the day could actually be making your nighttime bathroom trips considerably worse. And the timing of when you hydrate may be causing more damage to your sleep than any other habit in your daily life. I'm Dr. Lenora, a practicing urologist with over 24 years of experience treating bladder dysfunction, nocturia, and age-related urinary conditions. I've worked with thousands of patients, men and women, most of them over 60, who came to me worn out, frustrated, and convinced they were dealing with a serious bladder disorder. And the truth is, the vast majority of them simply hadn't learned how to hydrate properly. Now, in my previous video, I covered the 5 warning signs that your gut may be leaking toxins into your bloodstream. That video resonated deeply with so many of you. Today, we're going to dig even further into something that affects your sleep, your heart, your kidneys, and your overall quality of life every single night. A landmark study published in 2019 by Nagasaki University in Japan, one of the most referenced nocturia intervention studies in recent years, found that targeted adjustments to fluid intake timing reduced nighttime urination episodes by an incredible 40% in adults over the age of 65. 40%. No medication, no surgery, no costly procedures, just a smarter approach to drinking water. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. How many times do you wake up during the night to use the bathroom? Drop your number in the comments below. And if you're over 60, mention that too. Your experience matters, and you might be surprised how many others are dealing with the exact same thing. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most powerful hydration habits you need to adopt, ranked from foundational to genuinely life-changing. By the time we reach number 1, you'll understand something about your own bladder and body that most people never discover. And trust me, number 1 is not what you're expecting. In fact, it's the complete opposite of what you've probably been told your whole life. Don't skip ahead. Let's start with number 3. This one catches nearly every patient off guard when they first walk into my clinic. Your kidneys are not passive filters. They are dynamic, rhythmic organs that actually shift their behavior depending on the time of day. During daylight hours, your kidneys are running at full capacity, filtering your blood rapidly and producing urine at a high rate. But as the evening sets in and your body begins preparing for sleep, a hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, rises significantly in your bloodstream. Vasopressin signals the kidneys to slow urine production, concentrate what urine is being made, and allow your bladder to rest through the night. This is the body's natural design. The problem arises when you consume a large volume of fluid in the 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. You overwhelm that vasopressin signal. Your kidneys keep producing urine even while you try to sleep, and your bladder fills up faster than your brain's sleep center can suppress the urge to go. A 2020 study from the University of Toronto, published in the Journal of Urology, examined 412 adults with documented nocturia and found that those who followed a structured fluid cutoff 2 to 3 hours before bedtime reduced their average nighttime voids from 2.8 per night down to just 1.6, a 43% improvement. A separate 2018 study from Maastricht University Medical Center in the Netherlands confirmed these findings, showing that evening fluid restriction led to a 38% reduction in nocturnal urine output in participants aged 60 and above. One of my own patients, Mahi, a 68-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio, was waking up 4 times every night. She was drinking herbal tea, water, and juice right up until she turned off the lights. After we put a simple 7:30 p.m. cutoff in place based on her 10:30 p.m. bedtime, she was down to 1 nighttime void within 3 weeks. She told me she finally felt like herself again. Age plays a critical role here. After 60, vasopressin secretion begins to decline noticeably. Research from the University of Amsterdam published in 2017 found that adults over 65 produce up to 30% less vasopressin at night compared to adults in their 30s and 40s. This means that even a moderate amount of evening fluid, 2 or 3 glasses, can push your bladder past its threshold when you're older, whereas that same amount would have been managed effortlessly in your younger years. This is not a disease. It is biology. But it is biology you can work with. To put this into practice starting tonight, simply identify your target bedtime and count back 2.5 hours. That is your final fluid intake moment. Set a gentle phone reminder if you need one. Your last drink should be small, no more than 6 ounces, and it should not contain caffeine or alcohol, because both directly interfere with vasopressin function and will amplify your nighttime output regardless of the amount consumed. This habit pairs powerfully with number 2 on our list, because number 2 is about what you drink, not just when you stop. And what you've been putting into your body before that cutoff window may be silently working against you. Coming up next, we discuss the hidden bladder irritants that most people consume every single day without realizing they're sending their bladder into overdrive. And one of them is probably sitting on your kitchen counter right now. Number 2 is where things start to get genuinely interesting, because this is the habit that fundamentally changes your entire relationship with water. Most of the patients I see are not drinking too much water overall. In fact, many are chronically dehydrated. The real problem is distribution. They drink very little in the morning, a moderate amount at lunch, and then try to make up for it in the afternoon and evening, flooding their system with fluid right when their kidneys should be winding down. This pattern is physiologically backwards, and it is one of the primary drivers of nocturia in otherwise healthy adults. Here is the mechanism your body uses. Your kidneys process fluid most efficiently during the active, upright, and physiologically alert hours of the day, roughly 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. During this window, your body's sodium regulation, aldosterone levels, and renal blood flow are all optimized for high-volume processing. If you consume the bulk of your daily fluid, which for most adults should fall somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 liters during the morning and early afternoon, your kidneys clear it efficiently. Your bladder fills and empties normally throughout the day, and by evening your body has already done the heavy lifting. What remains in your bladder at bedtime is genuinely minimal. A 2021 clinical trial from Seoul National University Hospital, published in Neurourology and Urodynamics, divided 320 nocturia patients into 2 groups: a control group that drank water without timing guidance, and an intervention group that consumed 70% of their daily fluid before 2 p.m. After 8 weeks, the intervention group reported a 47% reduction in nocturnal voids, while the control group saw only a 9% improvement. A 2019 study from Keio University School of Medicine in Tokyo showed that front-loaded hydration also reduced mean nocturnal urine volume by 35% in men aged 55 to 75. Let me tell you about Robert, a 71-year-old retired engineer who came to me after 2 years of waking up 3 to 4 times every night. He was convinced he had prostate trouble. And while we did address some mild prostate enlargement, the real eye-opener came when we tracked his drinking habits with a 48-hour fluid diary. He was consuming fewer than 400 milliliters before noon, and then drinking nearly a liter between 6 and 9 p.m. We flipped his schedule. A large glass of water first thing in the morning, consistent hydration throughout the day, and a firm stop at 7 p.m. Within 6 weeks, Robert was averaging 1 nighttime void, down from 3.5. His sleep score on his smartwatch improved by 28 points. For those of you over 65, this front-loading strategy becomes even more essential. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens. This is a well-documented phenomenon confirmed in a 1992 study from the University of California, San Francisco, that has been replicated many times since. It means older adults frequently underdrink in the morning because they simply don't feel thirsty, then overcompensate late in the day when habits or routine triggers push them to drink. Breaking this cycle is one of the most powerful things you can do for your sleep. Here is how to start right away. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before you check your phone, drink a full 8-ounce glass of water. Then aim for another 2 glasses before noon. Set a phone alarm at 11 a.m. If you need a nudge, after lunch, taper off gradually. By 5 p.m., shift to sipping only. This costs nothing. It requires no prescription. And when you combine it with the cutoff window from number 3, you create a compounding effect. Your kidneys get the volume they need early, and then they get the signal to rest that they need at night. But here is what almost nobody talks about, and what I consider the most significant discovery in nocturia management over the last decade. Number 1 is not about when you drink or how much you drink. It's about something happening inside your body while you sleep that you have almost certainly never considered. And here we are. Number 1. I want you to pay close attention, because in my 24 years of practice, this is the single concept that has transformed outcomes for more patients than anything else I've ever applied. And when I first explain it, almost every patient gives me the same look of complete disbelief. The concept is this. For many adults, particularly those over 60, nighttime urination is not primarily a bladder problem. It is a fluid redistribution problem. Here is what happens. Throughout the day, if you're consuming a moderate to high sodium diet, which the average American absolutely is, taking in nearly 3,400 Melrine daily according to the CDC, fluid builds up in the tissues of your lower body, especially in your legs and ankles. This is called peripheral edema, and it may be subtle enough that you never even notice it. But when you lie down flat at night, gravity no longer keeps that fluid in your legs. It redistributes upward, re-enters your circulation, travels to your kidneys, and gets filtered directly into your bladder. This is why so many people feel perfectly fine going to bed and then find themselves urgently needing the bathroom within 60 to 90 minutes of lying down. A remarkable 2017 study published in the Journal of Urology by researchers at Nagasaki University enrolled 321 participants and had them reduce their daily salt intake from an average of 10.7 grams to 8 grams. That modest reduction alone produced a 25% decrease in nighttime voids, with participants going from an average of 2.3 nightly trips to 1.7. A follow-up study from the same institution published in 2020 showed that combining salt reduction with afternoon leg elevation produced a combined 52% reduction in nocturnal urinary volume. A remarkable outcome for such a simple, zero-cost intervention. This is where the synergy with our first 2 habits becomes powerful. When you front-load your hydration before 2 p.m., you minimize afternoon fluid intake. When you lower your sodium, you reduce the amount of fluid your tissues hold onto during the day. And when you pair both with a firm evening cutoff, you send your kidneys into the night with very little work left to do. These 3 strategies build on each other in ways that no single intervention can match. Let me tell you about Dorothy, a 76-year-old woman who had been waking up 4 to 5 times every night for over 3 years. She had tried 2 different medications. She had completed pelvic floor therapy. Nothing had given her lasting relief. When she came to me, I ordered a simple 24-hour urine collection, along with a dietary recall. Her sodium intake was over 4,000 milligrams per day, well above recommended levels, and her nighttime urine output represented 68% of her total daily urine volume. That is a textbook sign of nocturnal polyuria driven by fluid redistribution. We put a sodium reduction plan in place targeting under 2,300 mg, added an afternoon rest period with her legs elevated for 30 to 45 minutes, and combined that with the hydration strategies we've already covered. Within 8 weeks, Dorothy's nighttime voids dropped to 1 to 2 per night. Her total nocturnal urine output fell by 44%. She was in tears at her follow-up appointment. After 60, this mechanism becomes significantly more pronounced for 2 reasons. First, the venous walls in the legs become less elastic, making it easier for fluid to pool in soft tissue. Second, the heart's pumping efficiency often decreases slightly with age, meaning less fluid is returned from the legs during daytime activity. Research from Johns Hopkins University, published in 2016, confirmed that adults over 65 with even mild cardiovascular aging show significantly higher rates of nocturnal polyuria related to this positional fluid shift compared to younger adults. Here is your action plan starting today. First, spend 1 week honestly tracking your salt intake. Read labels. The biggest hidden sources are bread, canned soups, deli meats, and restaurant meals. Aim to stay below 2,300 ml per day. If you can reach 2,500, even better. Second, if you tend to sit for long stretches in the afternoon, whether at a desk, watching television, or reading, elevate your legs for 30 to 45 minutes before dinner. A pillow under your calves works perfectly. This simple position shift allows your circulatory system to return that pooled fluid to your bloodstream and kidneys while you're still awake and upright, so your bladder handles it before bedtime rather than at 2 a.m. Third, and this ties everything together, combine this with your morning hydration habit and your evening cutoff. This trio of strategies works as one unified system, and the results for patients who implement all three consistently are truly remarkable. Now let's bring it all together. Number 3, establish your fluid cutoff 2 to 3 hours before bed, because your kidneys need that time to wind down alongside the rest of your body. And if you're over 60, your vasopressin system needs that buffer even more than it did when you were younger. Number 2, front load your hydration. Drink the majority of your water before 2 p.m. when your kidneys are physiologically primed to process it efficiently and your bladder can do its job during normal waking hours. And number 1, the one that changes everything, reduce your sodium and elevate your legs in the afternoon to stop that silent, invisible surge of fluid that travels from your legs to your bladder the moment you lie down at night. Here's what I want you to take away most clearly. Improving your sleep, your bladder health, and your nighttime comfort is absolutely possible at any age. These are not strategies reserved for the young. They are biology-backed habits that work precisely because they align with your aging body rather than working against it. Now I want to know, which of these 3 will you start first? And what is your biggest challenge when it comes to waking up at night? Share it in the comments. I read every single one, and your question might inspire my next video. If this was helpful, please hit the like button right now. It tells the algorithm that this information is reaching the people who need it most. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Share this with someone you love who is losing sleep. And leave your thoughts below. Your body is not broken. It is simply waiting for the right information. And now you have it.